Guys. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving break. We are still virtual, and we're going to be that way for a while. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do some things that are a little bit different in art class because I know that not everybody might have paper at home or they might not have crayons or markers. I'm going to really try to focus a lot on doing digital artwork or artwork that we can do with our iPads. Sometimes that can be kind of tricky because technology doesn't always like to work well for us, and other times it works just fine. If for whatever reason you ever have a situation where your iPad isn't working right, let me know and I can try and help you get it figured out. Otherwise, you can always do like a paper alternative to it. So, like today, we're going to do a self-portrait project. I know that we did one earlier this year, but this is just going to be kind of a quick, fun, one-day project that we're going to do. And if for some reason you can't get it to work, you could always just draw your self-portrait quickly, and then you can do what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so don't feel like that just because I do it on an iPad that you can't still figure out a way to do this with paper. Okay, I'd rather you at least try to do something than just skip it because your iPad doesn't work. But today we are going to learn about a new artist. His name is Laolu Senbanjo. Laolu Senbanjo. And Laolu, he is 40 years old and he is a living artist. Remember that when Mr. Calvert teaches third grade art, we talk about only contemporary artists. So he's 40, he's still living today. And he is originally from Ilorin, Nigeria, which is right here on the map. Nigeria is kind of this orangish one right here. And he was born in Nigeria, but now he lives in New York City, which is right about here. Okay, a lot of times artists will move to big cities like New York or Paris or Los Angeles because their artwork's more likely to be seen there. And if your artwork's more likely to be seen, you're more likely to sell it then. And because he lives in New York City now, oftentimes people will call him by his nickname, which is Laolu NYC or Laolu New York City. That's what NYC stands for. He's an artist as well as a musician. He plays music. I'm not sure what instruments he plays, though. And Laolu wasn't originally an artist. He was originally a lawyer, so somebody who goes to court to help people. And this, typically being a lawyer, is a really important job. People really look up to lawyers. And in Africa, where he was from, Nigeria, he was a lawyer, but he wanted to be an artist. And he was really nervous to do this because oftentimes being an artist, people kind of look down on you. They view it being an artist as not being as important as somebody like a lawyer or a doctor or a police officer. So he was really afraid to make that switch to become an artist because he was afraid he was going to be shunned by his community or his town, that they wouldn't want anything to be wouldn't want to be a part of him. They didn't want anything to do with him. But he took that risk and decided to switch from being a lawyer to becoming an artist. And now he's really helped make a name for himself. So he calls his artwork Afro-Mysterics. And this just means that it's an African thought pattern. So when we look at his work, he uses patterns that are inspired by Africa and different patterns and themes that you might see if you were over there. So things that you might see on like textiles, which are like rugs and blankets. So he draws a lot of inspiration from those things. Usually when we look at his work, it usually just typically sticks to black and white. We can see on these pair of Nikes that he does have some color in it. He doesn't typically do that. Usually it's just black and white. And he's made artwork for a lot of really cool, important companies. We see Nike, where he helped design some shoes. He's done work for Starbucks. He's done work for a Beyonce music video. So it's really cool to see his artwork kind of branch out to all these different companies. And he's gone from not just painting like on sheets of paper, but now he kind of paints on everything. He'll paint on shoes, he'll paint on jackets, he'll paint right onto people. And we're going to draw our inspiration kind of from his artwork on people. So here's one that he did on a mask of the Black Panther, where you can see that he's using white paint on top of this black mask. Now, he doesn't paint with a paintbrush. He paints with something called a paint pen. So it's kind of like a fancy like marker that has paint inside it. And that just kind of helps him. You can probably get like a steadier hand when he works that way because he is not working on something that's flat. Trying to work on something that's 3D, like a face or a mask, that's really tricky. So using that paint marker probably helps. And we see a lot of geometric designs, so like black and white stripes, kind of these wavy lines, triangles. It's very geometric looking. As I said, he likes to work on people as well. We see kind of this eye pattern repeated across this person, as well as those stripes and triangles that we just saw. Working on people's faces, and this is what he actually did for Beyonce's music video, was that he took all the dancers and painted right onto their bodies, and then that was almost like their costume, which is pretty cool. Here we see that he painted the whole entire face. Notice how he avoids the mouth and he avoids the eyes and the eyebrows. So he kind of works around those two things, or those three things. Other times he just does part of the face. These are the ones I'm really drawn to because it's asymmetrical, which means that the left side is not the same as the right. Okay. Oftentimes when things are asymmetrical, they're a little bit more interesting to look at. Here's another example of that. Just kind of that difference from the left side to the right I find really interesting. Okay, so we are going to be working on top of a photograph of yourself today. So you're going to have to take a picture of yourself, and I'll show you this in our video. Then you're going to use an app on your iPad to work on drawing right on top of your photos. Obviously, you can't go and paint on your actual face. You probably get in trouble for that. But we can do that digitally using our iPads. So stay tuned. I have a video for you guys about Laolu, one that you can hear him talk and kind of talk about his work. And then we'll see a video of Mr. Calvert showing you how to make the art project.